Hello everyone, I am Simran Kaur from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group, and today we will start chapter 12, friction. In the last chapter, in force and pressure, I gave you a little information about the frictional force. Now this chapter is all about friction. Let's have a look on the topics which we are going to cover in this video. Force of friction, factors affecting friction, causes of friction and kinds of friction. And in the next part, in second part, friction, a necessary evil, effects of friction, fluid friction and increasing and reducing friction. Let's introduce the chapter. Now you can see in the image, like whenever you step on banana peel, what happens to you? You just slip. When something comes in front of you, suppose you are driving this truck and suddenly this car come in front of your path, then what will you do? Obviously you will apply brakes or you will crush this car. You will apply brakes. So what happens? Why do you slip in this case, and why do you apply, when do you apply brakes in this case? What happens? You ultimately, in this case you slip, and in this case you stops. So is there anything which is stopping you and which is responsible for your slipping down? Yes, there is one invisible force, that is frictional force. In the category of contact force, if you remember, frictional force is a contact force, invisible force, which comes into an action when two surfaces rub against each other. An object moving over the surface of another object slows down when no external force is applied on it. Just take an example of your bicycle. When you stop paddling, what happens? Do you keep on going, or a point will come when you will automatically stop? Yeah, you will stop at one point. So is there any ghost or any human being which is stopping you? No, but there is a force which is trying to oppose your motion, which is trying to stop you. That force is known as frictional force. Understood? Force of friction or frictional force. Moving objects finally stop or come to rest because of force of friction. You can perform this activity, just throw a ball on the ground, just roll it on the ground, and it will stop after few seconds, after covering some distance. So why it is stopping? Because of force of friction. Frictional force always acts in the opposite direction. If you remember in chapter 11 also, I told you that frictional force always acts in the opposite direction. Means if you are applying force in right direction, means you are pushing this box in right direction, then this force of friction will come into an act. In which direction? In your opposite direction, means in left direction. Now what are the factors which affect friction? Factors affecting friction. Is the frictional force same for all the surfaces? You know that no two surfaces are even, means surfaces are uneven. Somewhere the surface is very smooth and somewhere it is rough. So frictional force is not same for all the surfaces. Why? Because friction depends on the roughness and smoothness of the surface in contact. You can do this activity also. Just spill soapy water on the floor and try to walk on that floor, or just spill oil on the floor. So it will be difficult for you to walk on that floor, because after spilling that soapy water or after spilling that oil, what you are doing? You are increasing the smoothness of the surface, and hence it will affect the frictional force. Here you can see this is smooth surface. Two straight lines represent smooth surface, means polished surface. And here in this case, these lines, zigzag lines, represent roughness of the surface. So the more will be the smoothness of the surface, less will be the friction. And more roughness means more friction. Look at these two boys. You do skiing on snow or on sand? Obviously on snow, because it provides a smooth surface and which affects the friction, means there will be less frictional force. And you can see, if you will try to slide on the rough surface, you will not slide smoothly because the surface is very rough and it will provide you more friction. So smooth surfaces produces less friction and rough surfaces produces more friction. Just try to ride a bicycle on the sand, on the beach. You will automatically find it will be difficult for you to ride bicycle on sand, because you can see sand particles are very rough, so it will provide you more frictional force. Now the second factor which affects frictional force is the weight of the object. Frictional force depends on the weight of the object, means the heavier the box and more will be the friction. Here you can see there are two blocks, okay, means more. Okay, come to this part first. We are carrying a simple single box, okay, and this is spring balance. It is used to measure force. We have attached this spring balance to this box and we are trying to move this box. You can read the, you can note the reading in this case. Okay, just leave it here. Now come to this case. Instead of one, we are taking two boxes and again we have attached it to the spring balance and we are applying force, means we are pulling this force in this direction. Now you can note the reading in this case, means it is the measure of force. In which case value is more? This is pointing the value between somewhere between 20 and 45, means it is greater than 20, you can see, and in this case the value is less than 20. So it shows what? That frictional force is directly proportional to the weight of the body which moves. Directly proportional means if one thing is increasing, then the other thing will also increase. Here if we are increasing weight of the body, then frictional force will also increase. Understood? Okay, now causes of friction. Why this force comes into an act, means what is the cause? Following are the factors. First is due to the interlocking between the surfaces. We know that if we look at any object at microscopic level, you will find that no surface is very smooth. It has some roughness, and these are known as interlockings or hills and valleys. When two objects come into the contact, means this is the floor, let's say this is floor, this gray part, and this brown part is the box, okay. So when these two objects are touching each other, means their surfaces are coming into the contact and it will be interlocked. You can play it with your fingers also. Just try to rub your both palms against each other. It is very easy, but now lock your fingers and try to move. It will be very difficult. So same is happening here. Instead of your fingers, what is present? This, hills and valleys. These are known as hills and valleys. So when a wooden block is pulled, the hills and valleys interlock with each other and oppose the relative motion between the two bodies. Second cause is due to force of addition between the two surfaces. You have seen the water droplets lying on the surface of leaves. So why it does not fall down on the ground, on the earth's surface? Because of this force of addition. Here two surfaces are what? First surface is of leaf and second is of water molecules. When they come into contact with each other, there is force of attraction between them. You can see they are shaking hands, means there is force of attraction between them, and that force is known as force of addition. So it will be difficult for us. We need to apply more force to break their bond, to break their relation. So that causes what? Frictional force. So when two surfaces are in contact with each other, the atoms and molecules in contact with each surface attract each other with a force called adhesive force or force of addition. Okay. Next is force of addition between the two surfaces gives rise to friction, obviously, because it is difficult to break the interlocking, to break the bond. Can you tell me, interlocking in this case, where is the interlocking present, where is the force of addition? Force of addition is between atoms of this box and the atoms of the floor beneath this box. Force of addition is present between this wooden block and the floor. Got it? Now let's talk about kinds of friction, means types of friction. There are three types of friction: static friction, sliding friction and rolling friction. Static friction means when no motion is there, means this object is at rest. Sliding friction is when this object is already in motion, means it is already moving. And rolling friction is when the object rolls over the another surface, that is rolling friction. Okay, let's study in detail static friction. Static friction is a force that keeps an object at rest. Means, okay, when you apply force to any box, means suppose you want to push any box, so it will start moving as soon as you touch that box? No, it does not happen. So you have to, for few seconds, few microseconds, you have to apply force. So that force is known as static force, which is required to overcome the frictional force. The force required to overcome friction at the instant an object starts moving from rest is a measure of static friction. Means you have to, it is at rest and now you have to move it. That force is frictional force. Then sliding friction, the force required to keep the object moving with the same speed is a measure of sliding friction. Means object is already moving, just to keep it moving, like suppose you are riding a bicycle, you are already moving, but to keep on going, what you need to do regularly, you have to keep on paddling, then you will be keep on moving. So that is sliding friction. You can imagine an example in your mind also. Let's suppose car is at rest. Okay. Now two people are there and they are trying to push that car. So it will be difficult for them to push that car. Yes. But let's say that car is already moving with very slow speed, let's say 5 km/h, and you two people are pushing that car which is already in motion. So in which case you will apply more force? You will apply more force in case of static friction when the car was at rest. So sliding friction is always less than static friction, because in case of static friction we have to break the interlockings. Okay, in case of static friction we have to break the interlockings, and to break those interlockings we need to apply more force. In static friction, greater force is required to break the interlocking between two surfaces, but in sliding friction smaller force is required because we have already broken the interlockings, and that's why we need to apply less force. You can see the graph here. This is static friction. This truck is trying to pull this box. So this is static friction, means the maximum force which this truck has applied, and then this is sliding friction, which was less than static friction. Third is rolling friction. When one body rolls over the surface of another body, the resistance to its motion is called rolling friction. This is sliding friction, okay, and this is rolling friction, because we have now attached wheels under this box, and this makes it easier to move. Have you seen cars with square wheels? Okay, have you seen any other type of wheel except that circular wheel? No. Have you seen rectangular wheel or pentagonal wheel? No, we haven't. Why we always use these circular wheels? Because it provides less surface area in contact with the road. Less surface area means there will be less interlockings, and less interlockings means we need to apply less force to break those interlockings. Okay, that was all about the first part. I hope you understood this part, and thanks for watching.